So we're what, 2 or so years out from the release of the final chapter in the Trollhunters saga? The film Trollhunters Rise of the Titans, which concluded what was, at that stage, 5 or so years of storytelling, beginning with the Netflix show Trollhunters and continuing with 3 Below, a show about alien visitors to Earth, and Wizards, which, well, I guess you can guess what Wizards was about, eh? Anyway, all of these characters, this massive story arc, all of that development, it was getting wrapped up in one epic film. How could it go wrong? Well, quite easily apparently. As, well, it was a worst case scenario. The story was kind of rushed with minimal development for anybody. And then after Toby was killed off, they reversed everything with time travel, sending Jim back to the beginning of the series to change things, beginning with making Toby the Trollhunter instead of Jim. Which, okay, so basically what we saw was the failed timeline, where the world got apocalypsed and many folks died, including Toby. So, after all those years watching the show, it's revealed that meant nothing, as the narrative ends in misery to start all over again, with the characters and the narrative development, except for Jim's, wiped completely away and reset. Which, yeah, it really didn't go down well with the fandom, if I'm being perfectly honest. And by not well, I mean it went down like a lead balloon. This film has a 48% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not good. Especially considering that the previous shows had been very well thought of and were decently popular. If the shows had kept coming out, I think they would have grown even more popular and developed their audience even further. But, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I'm actually quite salty about this whole thing. 2 years on, I'm still mad. Because that ending sucked. Sucked quite hard. It wasn't good. As the credits roll, you're sitting there thinking, wait, really? Did this seriously just happen? How is that the final decision? But yeah, the reality is that's how the story ended, and we're left to imagine what happens after Toby gets the medallion and Jim embarks on a more normal life. There's a little bit of an epilogue that sort of gives you a brief insight to all that, but really it's up to your imagination. And so, I guess that's really what the crux of this video is going to be about. Would Toby be a better Trollhunter than Jim Lake Jr.? Or would it all go to hell regardless of who was in the pilot seat and whether Jim was able to feed Toby the information to avoid the mistakes that he made early on? And indeed, later on, just his mistakes in general, I guess, and all the unexpected stuff, betrayals, surprise villains, character deaths, you know the drill. Basically, was it the right choice for the timeline wipe? From an in-universe perspective, as in, would this actually prevent a whole bunch of their friends biting the dust, or would it probably just go to shit all over again? And so, you kind of need to start from the beginning, the bare bones. Yeah, Jim has his memories, but we gotta start by focusing solely on Toby the Trollhunter. And look, I'm not meaning to be cruel or, like a body shame or anything like that, but it's pretty clear that to wield the powers of the Trollhunter, you need to be a bit of a warrior. Yeah, it does give you a bit of a booster, but Jim at first really struggled, and he's decently fit and strong. Nothing special, but very much so compared to Toby. And look, Toby does turn into a bit of a badass later on, but at the same time, I'm almost 100% sure that it was because of the gravity magic on the hammer. That's what made him a force to be reckoned with. I mean, hell, it lets him fly. That's pretty badass. But in these early days, before many of Jim's helpful hints can come into play, he needs to be able to fight, take on dudes like Bulla, the Janus Order, Angor Rot. No chance they won't wake Angor Rot up. Plus, he needs to be able to prove himself in combat to trolls like Dral. How's he going to be able to do that? Everything we see from Toby in these early seasons, until he gets his hack in the form of a floaty hammer, is that when it comes to physical stuff, he is toast, 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 toast. I just don't see how, even with the help of his allies, he'd have much of a chance to compete with these early villains. Maybe later on, but early on? Nope. Not like Jim, who, whilst not being the most athletic character in the world, had more potential than Toby as of the start of Season 1, training or no training. But even beyond that, even beyond Toby's physical limitations, how much could Jim actually change? Yeah, he can tell Toby and Blinky and Arg how it went down in his world. But the first season of Trollhunters alone has so many events that take place that are spurred on by the fact that it's Jim who becomes the Trollhunter. And thus, it's the interplay that this has on his life and his relationships with characters like his mum, or Strickler, or Claire. And thus, I feel like it's almost a certainty that things won't play out the same way as they do in the original canon. There are some things that you can know. Who's on the villain side, who the enemies are, where they can be found at first, shit like that, yeah? Things, though, will change on the fly. He isn't going to be able to walk into Strickler's office and make him suddenly be a good guy. "Hey sir, I know you're a changeling serving an evil monster from the Darklands, but in an alternate reality, you were banging my mum, so you should help out my friend the Trollhunter. What do you say?" Like, that's not gonna happen. And is he gonna suddenly be able to whip Toby into fighting shape and ensure that Bular can't open the Killerhead Bridge gate? And this is bearing in mind that Bular actually kills the previous Trollhunter, who was a bit of a Chad. On top of that, would he be able to walk Toby through the test of strength by Dral? What about the whole Arcane Order stuff? Like, it's one thing to know that they're out there, but what's his proposed plan to stop them? And what about when Toby turns into a troll? Is he just gonna doom his friend to that fate? That's a bit harsh if you ask me. Like, seriously, what is the plan? Oh yeah, these almost unbeatable dudes are out there. Better train up Toby. Also, we have to wait for some aliens to land, and there's also a wizard working at a restaurant with a talking cat, so let's go find him too. It just feels like a lot of hoops that Jim's gonna need to jump through to get things done, which is in turn made harder by 3 extra factors. The first of these factors being that, well, who the hell's actually going to believe him? Like, yeah, I guess some people might trust him, but remember how long it took for Jim to earn the troll's trust? And he was the chosen Trollhunter. Who is going to listen to him when he's a random nobody spouting off what seems to be conspiracy theories? And he's a human to boot. Whew. And also, second factor, it's one thing to have knowledge of the future, but it's not like he's going to be able to predict what his enemies are going to be doing. Like I said, one thing to know about the Janus Order and Bular, but he needs Toby to beat them, and it's unlikely that Toby can take them on all at once. So now the survivors do have time to regroup and make a new plan. And that plan is going to be different to the plan that Jim faced because the team would have approached the battles in a different way, as instead of Jim's era, where they were flying by the seat of their pants, Jim now has knowledge, so they've made a plan. Maybe that's an ambush or whatever, but it's not like they can follow a script. And it's not like the villains are going to follow a script and respond in a set way. Well, I guess they are, but not in the storyline. And so it wouldn't make any sense for Jim's knowledge to actually come into play after his first couple of moves, because villains aren't stupid. They'll figure it out and they'll try a new plan. And unless Jim can coordinate the death of every single villain at the same time, I'm talking Bular and the Janus Order and Angel-Rot, all at the same time, he has no chance of actually stopping a true final battle. Because inevitably, Gunmar will probably get out. Inevitably, Morgana will probably get out. Inevitably, the Arcane Order will return. And this, of course, would all be quite bad regardless. And then beyond that, if he sticks around for the alien storyline, there's a good chance he could accidentally make it go off the rails. I mean, he knows who the aliens are at that point, so he might stick with them. And he'll probably stay around in the town even if Toby had to leave. But that being said, who says Toby has to leave? What if Jim's able to save the Heartstone? What if it's not destroyed and the trolls stay in Troll Market? And therefore, the whole team's there with the aliens. And everything changes. So who knows, butterfly effect and all that. What if they don't even come to the planet because of the minor butterfly effect? And so, like I said, everything would be majorly different and hard to predict. And then on top of that, how the hell could he possibly remember every single little thing that he has to do? The dude was a troll hunter for a long time and a lot of shit happened to him. There were many different little minor moments, a lot of which he wasn't even present for. And these contributed to the overarching ending. It's not like the dude has a pile of scripts to read through. He has to go off his memory alone, and I doubt anybody can remember every single event of every day of their life of the last year. And so really, this has just cemented my idea that the ending of Trollhunters not only sucks from an audience perspective as it wipes out everything you've watched before, but also in universe. Because honestly, I feel like there's little to no chance of things playing out like Jim would want. And there's just a big risk of it all going to shit once more. And so, I hate it. But of course, these are just my opinions and I'd like to hear yours. What do you think about Toby being the Trollhunter? Do you think it would actually change much at all? Like, the minor things, yes, but do you think the overarching ending would change? Or would there still be a devastating final battle? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.